I started Rich 20 as a brand name without myself at the forefront. In the beginning, I thought if you have a business online, you shouldn't make it about you, you should make it about the company. That's what I saw in the beginning, but that didn't really vibe with what I was actually doing, because at the end of the day, I realized everyone knew Rich 20 was me, and for a long time it was only me, so I could have probably done a personal brand too. Doesn't really matter in the beginning. Where it starts to matter is when you start to develop the business and you have to scale up and you have to think about what your responsibilities are. So if you're concerned with like becoming a well-known person in your niche or in your space, then a personal brand helps, because people will associate your name with, you know, success and with doing well, and then it's easy to make that transition. But
it's gonna be annoying.
Yeah. Mom. You're just on your character here. Okay, so with branding, I think there are two ways to look at it. One is as you as a personal brand, and the other is the company that you're creating as the brand driving everything. And so I think that with information-based businesses especially, this can be really useful, because a lot of times people go on websites and they'll see the person providing the information or the service front and center. You'll associate the good knowledge that you're getting with that person, and it's so totally cool to have a personal brand. So I could have this could have been from the very beginning DanielDiPiazza.com, and for a while I actually did have that as a separate site, DanielDiPiazza.com. A lot of people though, they want to create a brand that's kind of anonymous because it feels bigger than them, and it allows them to like hire people and build a company. And also there's a little bit of like entrepreneurship in that, where they're like, we are an exclusive company, and we have a real business, and it makes people feel like they're making more progress than they really are.
Give a framework. So if I was just starting out and I was stressing out about a blog name, just the pros and cons. So it's like, or if there's no cons, and it's whatever, but just kind of get this set up. Maybe you should have a personal brand if this, and this, or maybe you should have a brand name for this, and this reason.
There's pros and cons to both having a personal brand and having like just a business name. Sorry. So pros and cons to having both a personal brand and a company name, right? Mm-hmm. When I first started Rich 20, actually a lot of people don't know I had two sites in the beginning. I had DanielDiPiazza.com and Rich 20, and a friend told me that, hey, you should just put them under one site. It's just easier, and put it on the company site because it's more official. It seems more respectable. So that's what I did. I rolled all in Rich 20, and looking back on that now, I think that there are benefits to having just a personal brand. One benefit is if you want to become like a well-known person in your space, or you want to start doing things like speaking, or you want to start writing books, having a personal brand with your name already front and center can be really useful. So my friend Nathan Chan runs Founder Magazine. Founder Magazine as a company is separate from Nathan Chan. But now Nathan is developing his personal brand, so that means like a personal website. That means
say if Nathan wanted to write a book and go sell the book, it would probably be a harder sell since not that many people know who he is. But as opposed to you writing a book, everybody who reads Rich 20 something knows it's your name.
I kind of reversed that theory though. What I did was I built up Rich 20, got a book deal, and then started with my personal brand. One thing that's annoying about a personal brand is that if the brand is you, people expect you to be the one showing up. So for instance, if you start doing webinars, you have a personal brand, you're the one people expect to be on the webinar. Eventually what happens is sometimes you become the bottleneck in the business, because everything has to go through you. You have to be the presenter, you have to be the voice, you have to be the author. And of course you can always outsource that stuff. But it just, if you have a brand name, it opens you up to build more of a company that's independent of your particular day-to-day activities, even if it's your vision. I think the biggest pros of having a personal brand is that you can elevate yourself to do other things. So like, no matter what industry you're in, if you elevate yourself as, like, let's say you were making a product on like how to like create a beautiful home garden, right? And so there's a difference between like beautifulhomegarden.com and Daniel'sBeautifulHomeGarden.com, right? If it's Daniel'sBeautifulHomeGarden.com, which is probably available, by the way, you could transition into like doing a show on HGN. Is that the Home Garden Network? HGN. You could do it. You could write a book. You could do all these things because now you are the main vocal, part of that brand. And people will start to know you and associate your face. But if you're just doing a course or a product on gardening and you remove yourself from the conversation and you only talk about the product and you only talk about the brand, then it gets a little bit harder to get your name out there because you've established so much momentum behind just an anonymous brand that you have to work to come out of the shadows. That's what my friend Joel at Addicted to Success is doing, right? Like, so Addicted to Success for a long time has been like this personal development blog. It was one of the first sites to start doing like the inspirational, motivational quotes before Instagram was really big. And so only now is he, years later after starting that business, is he coming out of the shadows, revealing, you know, his personal insights and becoming more of a personal expert. And, you know, so he's writing more articles. He's you know, has like a personal Instagram, and that can be cool too, right? Because it can open you up to do things. So I don't know. I mean, look, I don't think there's a right answer to this. I think that's the main point. When you're trying to think of a name for the company, you're trying to think of a position, I think you should just solve the problem. If you want it to be Alicia solving the problem, fine. If you want it to be Alicia's company solving the problem, fine. You can always change that later. I like personal branding because I think that, for me, I'm just being honest, I like personal attention. I like the attention. It helped me to get a book deal, having to do all this other stuff. I like it. But some people are very annoyed by the personal attention that they get from calling themselves out. Good example in the entertainment space is like Tyler Perry always does the Medea movies, and it's always like Tyler Perry's Medea's Family Reunion. He did that because he wanted people to know that he was the director. If he didn't do that, I might not be as familiar with him, even though he is acting as Medea. But I might think of him as just the director or the actor. I might not know that he created his whole thing. He created Tyler Perry Studios. He didn't call it like Medea Studios, he called it Tyler Perry Studios. So everything he does, Oprah did the same thing, right? Oprah, Harpo, Oprah backwards. You know, it's all about her own network, Oprah Winfrey Network. It's about her and about the things that she does and the things that she likes and supports, right? That personal brand has allowed her to move out and kind of expand. But then you have people on the other side of that. You have people who start big brands, like you have Apple. When Steve Jobs was the head man at Apple, he built the whole cult around Apple, and it was the cult of Apple. And just because Apple was the big thing didn't mean that Steve Jobs didn't get a lot of attention, but he built it around Apple and Apple's products and Apple as a company, and everything was about Mac this, Mac that, and then that sounds like a rap song. And then he had like the iPhone, so then everything became iPhone, iPad, iWatch is not a thing, but like Apple Watch. So he built the company around the brand name of the company without having to refer to himself. It wasn't like Steve Jobs, Apple iPhone. It was just Apple. And so that worked too. It was just as successful as Oprah shit, as Tyler Perry shit. Different spaces, different examples, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like you want a pros and cons list. There's not really a pro and con list. It's a personal preference, and it's personal preference that can change. Just like you can change your position to a new audience later, or you can change your brand name, you can always change your brand identity in terms of if it's just you or if it's the company. And then you can always scale out. Like, you can always have one big, if you wanted to start with a company, you can build a company and then have little products and projects under it that have separate little names, positions, and people in charge. That's what Beachbodies did. Do you guys know Beachbodies?
Yeah, Beachbody.
P90X,
Yeah.
Which is Tony Horton. Insanity, which is the Insanity dude. I think Jillian Michaels is with Beachbody too for her stuff. I don't know, but there's like different fitness gurus under Beachbody, and each fitness guru has a different product, and the product is Tony Horton's P90X, but it's under Beachbody. Beachbody is a big company, Tony Horton's a personal brand, it's under the big company. It doesn't fucking matter. I think you have to figure out what's comfortable for you and what's appropriate for your industry. If you have a lot of like service-based things, helping people get in better shape, helping people start a business, helping people look better, helping people feel better, a lot of times it's pretty good to have that as a personal brand. If you have things that's more of a commodity, like you have things like Founder Magazine, it doesn't really, from my perspective, it doesn't make sense for this to be Nathan Chan's Founder Magazine. It's better just that it's Founder. If you have something like On It, this is Aubrey Marcus who runs On It, it doesn't make sense for it to be On It by Aubrey Marcus. Because this is just a supplement company. It doesn't necessarily have to be about him. It just depends on what you feel like your company's core vision is. Usually if it's like a service that you're trying to give information to someone, it's perfectly fine if it's your personal brand. But if it's like a product, or if it's like a commodity, or if it's like a publication or something, it doesn't have to be about you. I think that you should just pick what you're comfortable with and know that you're not married to that idea. You can always, always, always switch. That's another example of something that you shouldn't let stop you from making the money. You validated the idea, you've got the positioning going, you're going to make sure that people are willing to pay for it, but that shouldn't be a sticking point for you, But there are a lot of really cool examples to explore.